Why did Jane's retirement taxes go up by thousands? By thousands as she got older. You're gonna see, this is nuts, man. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people recognize how this tax code works. And if they did, they'd be like, oh, I get it now. So we're gonna drill that into you again. And for Carl out there, I wish Josh would do more right capital simulations on single people. Jane is single. All right, so hang in there. I'm just goofing on you. All right, we'll see. Well, hold on a second. Hang tight. What you see is in 2027, Jane is going to, let's see here. She's going to have, so what you're going to see is in 2027, Jane has income of $35,000. That's from her Social Security, all right? But she has expenses of $71,000. So she needs $36,000 to come from someplace. In this case, it's going to come from her portfolio, all right? So $35,000 Social Security, but she needs $5,000 a month for basic living expense. Plus, she's going to buy a car. She's going to go on vacay as well. So she needs $71,000. So she has to pull $36,000 from other places. So hang tight. Look at her 1040. She got $35,000 Social Security. She has some capital, some ordinary income off her bonds. And she has some qualified dividends off her stock. So she got about another $9,000 or so of income from her portfolio. Plus, she's going to pull the rest from her portfolio, be taxed as capital gains. Some of it will be taxed as capital gain because she does have a cost basis. Not all of it, but some of it will be long term. So we take the amount of money that she has from Social Security, plus the $18,000 that she's going to get pulled from her portfolio, plus another $9,000 or so. And that's her total income that she has. So again, we take 35 plus, what's that, 52, about 8, 9, we'll just say 9, plus another $18,000 from her portfolio. That's $62,000 that she's going to have to spend. All right. Now, you take her age, so she has $62,000 of income, I should say. You take her AGI of $40,000 because only a third of her Social Security is subject to taxation. $35,000 of total Social Security benefits, only $13,000 subject to taxation. So her total income is $62,000. She actually has some money in the savings account, which she'll dip into as well. But her AGI is only $40,000. Interesting. Then you take her standard deduction and her personal exemption, because 2027 the Trump tax bill goes away, and her taxable income is only $18,000. But why is her taxable income only $18,000 and yet she still has no taxes? Because that taxable income is all long-term capital gain, because she's still in the 12% tax bracket. Hope that makes sense. So in this case, her Social Security is tax-free, her capital gains are tax-free because she's still in the 12% tax bracket. Her qualified dividends are tax-free, and her taxable interest is tax-free because her standard deduction takes off that. It's because she has a standard deduction of $17,000. I know it says qualified business income. That will go away in 2026. Well, actually 2027, it's going to be revert back to personal exemption. So all this other income that would normally be subject to taxation is being dwarfed by her standard deduction. So her income is zero in terms of taxation. Why? Because her long-term capital gains are zero, her qualified dividends are zero, and her Social Security is zero because she has no taxable income. Oh, I mean, she has $18,000 taxable income, but because she's still in the 12% tax bracket, she has no taxes due. All right, so hang tight. Point out, you can see her outflows are always about $70,000 a year. All right, every year they're out about $70,000. Nothing has changed. Her income needs haven't changed at all, about $70,000. Now we're going to go to when she's 72 years old. Her Social Security here is $39,000. Right? She has $15,000 of required distributions though, which means her total income is $55,000. That's not enough. She needs $63,000 to cover expenses, another $7,000 to cover her travel goals. So she needs, again, $71,000 of income. She only has $55,000 coming in, so she's got to take a distribution from her portfolio of about $17,000. All right, so let's go to 1040, see what it looks like. More complicated, isn't it? Now nothing has changed. She still needs about $70,000 of income, and she still has Social Security. The only thing that has changed is required minimum distributions. Right there. That's it. Everything else is the same. So we go to 2032, 2031. Look, the only thing that's different is that right there, that line 4B for IRA required distributions. 2031, she still spent $71,000, but she's had no taxes because long-term capital gain is kept in 12%, qualified dividends kept in 12%, Social Security, only a third of that, actually in this case, like 25% of that is subject to taxation, and that gets eaten alive by her standard deduction plus her ordinary interest. So no taxes whatsoever. We go, only thing that's changed. So look, you see this right here. 31,000 is her AGI. 8,000 was her taxable income. We had $15,000. Now 51,000 is her AGI, and 25,000 is her taxable income. So we added $15,000, and our taxable income went from zero, or it went from 8,000 to 25,000 Huh? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And the reason for, and it's only going to get worse. We'll go to 2032. See, go to 2033. Look, our taxable income is 25,000. Go to 2034, 26,000. Go to 2040, 28,000. And I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's only $2,000 in taxes there. But the reason that happened was, so we added $15,000, and our taxable income went up by $18,000. Now check it out. 39,000 is the Social Security benefit. 19,000 is subject to taxation. So a little bit less than half of her Social Security benefit is now subject to taxation. Whereas the year before, 38,000 of Social Security, only 10,000 was subject to taxation. So see that? By adding that $15,000, what has she done? She's increased her taxable Social Security by 20%, by 100%. She increased her taxable Social Security income by 100%. She doubled that. All right. Now you take that taxable income from Social Security, this is subject to taxation, plus her RMD, and you can see her taxable income is now $25,000. Before it was only $7,000. Isn't that crazy? Now that 100% increase in her tax in her Social Security being subject to taxation, you still get the standard deduction, you still get the personal exemption. So it hasn't increased her taxes by 100 month. I mean, going from $0 to $1,100 does increase her tax by a million, infinity amount, but in terms of percentage wise. But in terms of, well, her taxable income hasn't gone up by as much because she still has a standard deduction and all that. Either way, though, she increased her Social Security, which is subject to taxation, by 100%. Now, if we go to 2000, I haven't looked at this, 2040, 47,000 for Social Security is that's what her Social Security is, and 28,000 is subject to taxation. So over 50% of her Social Security there. So each and every year, the amount of her Social Security subject to taxation increases each and every year. I just think it's interesting. Again, 2031, 38,000 of Social Security, only 10,000 subject to taxation. Qualified dividends, ordinary income, long-term capital gain, none of it flows to her tax bottom, nothing there. Her taxable income is only $7,800. You fast forward, the only thing we've done now is we've increased our, we had to take an RMD of $15,000. That doubles the amount of her Social Security is subject to taxation. Now again, not a huge hit because she still has big standard deduction and personal exemptions. But she had $51,000 of taxable income in 2032. She had $31,000 of taxable income in 2031. The only thing she did different was add to her RMDs. That's it. Her RMDs are now $15,000. So that adds to her Social Security taxable income. In this case, given $25,000, it's still probably a 12% tax bracket. And actually, I'm going to pause real quick and see. Now you can see she's still right at the top of the 10% tax bracket. So she has a lot of wiggle room in terms. I mean, here's the, was that the 10 or is it? Yeah, it's a 12. That's a 10. So let me just show you something for giggles here. All I've done here was double her RMD. So we're back to 2031. You can see everything's still the same. All right, 38,000 of Social Security, 10,000 subject to taxation, 14,000 of long-term capital gains, another $7,000 of ordinary dividend, qualified dividends, and ordinary income. Now we just doubled the RMD. That's all we've done. We've gone from 15,000 to 33,000 basically. And what does that do? It puts her at $49,000, which means all this is subject to taxation. Long-term capital gain will be subject to taxation. Her Social Security, almost 85% is subject to taxation now because she has a bigger RMD, divided by 39. 70, almost 80% of her Social Security is subject to taxation. Her ordinary income is obviously subject to taxation because it doesn't get dwarfed by the wiped out by the standard deduction. Her qualified dividends are subject to taxation because she's above the 12% tax bracket. So let me just show you that. She's still below the 12, would be 15% tax bracket in the future, but still below that. So that's interesting. But either way, you can still see that her taxes have gone up simply because because of RMDs. Even though let me just show you again, it's nuts. Taxable income is $9,000. All right, that's it in 2031 before RMDs kick in. In 2032, her taxable income is $49,000, even though her RMD is only $33,000. So her taxable, hey, baby. So increasing her RMDs, not increasing, by having a $33,000 RMD, it increased her taxable income by $42,000. Basically made another $9,000 subject of that was previous tax-free subject to taxation. And it's only going to get worse, my friends, because as she ages, her RMDs get bigger, making more stuff subject to taxation. Watch out for that. Watch out. And this is just single Jane with a brokerage account as long-term capital gains. But again, the RMD made her Social Security more subject to taxation, plus her long-term capital gains, plus her qualified dividends, plus her ordinary income that she had on bonds, because now she's above the 12% tax bracket. Careful. All right, love to hear your thoughts. We'll see you.